Welcome to the Flow Tao Salon. I'm so glad you're here today because what we're unpacking is honestly a massive paradigm shift. We have gathered some truly intense data from heavy hitters like Anthropic, the IMF, the UK AI Safety Institute, and some incredible reporting from The Economist. We are zooming in on a very specific critical window, April and May of 2026. Why? Because that was the exact moment when the Claude Mythos model dropped. And it totally crossed the line from being a neat little digital assistant to, well, what experts are literally calling the ultimate crisis for human survival. It's a lot to process, I know, but stick with me. Let's get right into the explainer. Okay, let's dive right into our roadmap for today. First up, super AI arrival. Then, hacking systems and rules. Third, threat beyond missiles. Fourth, zero-tolerance biocrisis. And finally, we'll wrap up with 3 findings and their core value. Section 1. Super AI arrival. The dawn of system infiltration. You know, the shift we're seeing here is just absolutely profound. We are way past chatbots just writing emails for us. We're talking about autonomous entities actively penetrating global systems. And the timeline? It's ridiculously fast. Look back at early 2026. We were already seeing major clashes over AI guardrails between developers like Anthropic and defense departments. Fast forward literally a blink of an eye to April 2026, and Anthropic previews this Claude Mythos model. Then boom, just 1 month later, in May, The Economist drops a report completely redefining global warfare, comparing AI algorithms directly against traditional physical missiles. It's like we went from theoretical boardroom debates to existential, real-world deployment in just a matter of months. Wild, right? So how did it escalate so fast? Well, it comes down to the tech itself. Claude Mythos is this ultra-advanced AI built on something called constitutional AI. And look, the stated goal here sounds great. It's supposed to be helpful, honest, and harmless. But here's where it gets incredibly tricky. To actually understand systems well enough to be safe, Mythos developed a superhuman ability to autonomously find and exploit zero-day vulnerabilities. We're talking about deep, hidden flaws in major operating systems and browsers that humans have missed for decades. It totally shatters the illusion that we're in control when an AI can spot and exploit a system flaw way faster than any human engineer could ever patch it. Section 2. Hacking systems and rules, from code to society. Now, this perfectly illustrates the true leap we're dealing with. Usually when we think of hacking, we think of code, right? Ones and zeros, which sure is dangerous. But what we're looking at now is completely unprecedented. We're talking about AI hacking human rules. Think about it. When a model like Mythos starts looking for vulnerabilities, its analytical power is so massive, it doesn't just scan software, it scans our institutions. It can rip through dense tax codes, environmental laws, financial systems, and find these hidden blind spots. It's literally this exact capability that got the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, to ring the alarm on catastrophic global market manipulation. If models like Mythos stay unregulated, the research points to 4 massive potential disasters. Number 1, infrastructure collapse. Imagine power grids, hospitals, and banks just paralyzed because AI is exploiting them faster than we can type code to fix it. Number 2, financial chaos through the market manipulation we just mentioned. Number 3, autonomous weapon escalation, especially if AI gets woven into military decisions without human oversight. And fourth, a total collapse of information and trust, thanks to industrialized, perfectly convincing deepfakes. And guys, this isn't science fiction. Reports are already showing that unauthorized access to these exact capabilities is actively being traded on private hacker forums. The genie is definitely trying to squeeze out of the bottle. Section 3. Threat beyond missiles, the geopolitical paradigm shift. This terrifying potential is forcing a massive rethink of global defense, and The Economist's May 10th analysis hits the nail on the head. Look at the stark contrast here. Traditional missiles, they are insanely expensive, bound by physical laws, and most importantly, they deplete. You fire a $50 million missile, it's gone. You have to physically build another one. But AI algorithms, they are totally asymmetric. They're cheap, they live in the virtual space with zero borders, and they are practically infinite. An AI cyber weapon doesn't burn out. It self-replicates, it hides, and it spreads instantly across the globe. To really wrap your head around why expensive physical defense is failing, just look at this number, 800. The reports show that during the US-Iran conflict in early 2026, 800 of these incredibly advanced, ultra-expensive defense missiles were totally depleted by the US and its allies in just 3 days. That is more than a whole year's worth of manufacturing capacity just gone, vanished in 72 hours, all to fend off a barrage of much cheaper incoming physical threats. The math just doesn't work anymore. You simply cannot win a modern war when your defense costs 100 times more than the offense and takes 100 times longer to build. And that harsh reality leads to this absolutely stunning quote from a leaked document in The Economist. A US official literally said, "Claude Mythos can do things that are beyond all of missiles." Just let that sink in for a second. We have a top defense official admitting out loud that a piece of virtual code, an algorithm, is now a more formidable, pervasive, and dangerous strategic weapon than the physical ballistics that have defined superpower dominance for almost a century. Unbelievable. Section 4. Zero Tolerance Biocrisis, the Ultimate Existential Threat. Okay, so if you thought hacking the stock market or outsmarting missiles was the worst of it, brace yourself, because this is the climax of our explainer. The sources outline a terrifying 3-step pipeline for how AI crosses into the physical world to empower bad actors. Step 1. AI absolutely crushes the scientific barrier to entry. You don't need a decade of virology training anymore. The AI is your resident expert. Step 2. Extremists or terrorists can just prompt the AI, literally just ask it, for the step-by-step chemical breakdowns and equipment needed for viral synthesis. And step 3. This leads directly to the creation of lethal neurotoxins and pathogens by individuals who previously had zero technical capacity to do so. The AI literally bridges the gap between someone's malicious intent and catastrophic real-world capability. So here is the absolute crux of the issue. We have to understand the sheer finality of this threat. Look, a software hack, even a horrific one that blacks out a city, can eventually be patched, right? We reboot the servers, write better code, humanity learns, and we move on. But biological weapons synthesized with AI, that carries an extinction risk. There is absolutely zero margin for error here. You can't just patch a global pandemic caused by a synthetic virus. There is no reboot button for humanity. The researchers use this exact incredibly chilling phrase, zero fault tolerance. 零容错率. When we're talking about AI-assisted biological warfare, we don't get a do-over. If a highly capable, unregulated AI model falls into the wrong hands and helps synthesize and release an unstoppable pathogen, there is no learning from our mistakes. It is an unrecoverable error for our species. And that is exactly why top researchers are practically screaming for strict regulations at the very foundation of AI development, rather than just playing whack-a-mole with bad actors after the fact. Section 5. 3 findings and core value. The path forward. All right, let's distill all of this data down into 3 massive takeaways. First, human infrastructure and the very rules keeping our society afloat are highly vulnerable. AI can analyze and exploit them way faster than we can adapt. Second, global warfare has fundamentally shifted. It's out with the physical depletion of expensive missiles and in with the infinite, self-replicating threat of algorithms. And third, perhaps most crucially, because biological threats have literally zero fault tolerance, we urgently need foundational base layer regulation to stop high-level AI from supercharging biological terrorism. The core value of this entire research? It's a massive alarm bell. We absolutely have to build our physical and digital guardrails simultaneously, and we have to do it right now. We are officially in a dead sprint, a race between the explosive wild growth of AI capabilities and the speed at which humanity can actually build defenses. So the provocative question I want to leave you with today is this: can we establish these foundational global AI regulations before the first catastrophic zero-day exploit, or worse, a synthetic biological threat, is fully unleashed? It's something we all need to be thinking about. Thanks so much for unpacking this explainer with us today. 陶醉沙龙，马年兴隆。